About 4 years ago, Genesis launched here in America with two all-new models, the G80 sedan and the G90. Now, they were both extremely well-crafted luxury cars. However, the big problem was they were sedans, and in a world full of crossover-hungry shoppers, they were kind of the wrong vehicle for the wrong times. Now, as you can see, I'm standing by the all-new Genesis SUV. This is the 2021 GV80. It's based off of the all-new G80 sedan that I tested a couple weeks ago. And unlike its competitors, it has a look that really stands out, especially in a segment that's full of all new entries. So the big question I want to answer, now that I'm finally able to drive the GV80, was this new SUV worth the wait? That's what we're here to find out. Now, because I'm out here in West Hollywood with Genesis driving the GV80, I thought I'd show you guys all the different trim configurations since they do have several of them here for us to show you guys. Now, the base price of this car starts at under $50,000, and this model here is actually that model because it has the base standard package and the 19-inch wheels. As you can see, even though this is the base standard package, it still looks pretty impressive on the exterior. The front fascia, as you can see, has the Genesis corporate look, that large crest grille with all the chrome. It's got these quad beam dual full LED headlights with no LED fog lights or anything like that, but you can see it's got the LED turn signals, the LED daytime running lights. It's very distinctive. This car definitely has a Bentley Bentayga look, but it looks like a slightly better Bentley Bentayga to me. And then if you follow me over here, you can see those are the standard 19-inch wheels, which they're wrapped in 265 with tires, Pirelli Scorpio tires. These wheels to me definitely are not my favorite. Follow me over to this model here. This one has the advanced package, and this is the 6-cylinder version. That one was the 4-cylinder. These are the 20-inch wheels that you get with 265 with tires on 50 series rubber. So these wheels to me look a little bit nicer. They kind of have a machined 5-spoke look. And then over there, that blue one, as you can see, that's pulling in, that's the Prestige package model that comes with the 22-inch wheels. So these are definitely my favorite wheel on this one. They're wrapped in 265, 40 or 35 width tires. These are the wheels that I would get personally if I was going to get this car, especially in this dark blue. This is one seriously good looking car. So looking at the side profile of the GV80, you can see it is one imposing looking SUV. The fact that it's a GV80 means that this is a mid-size crossover, so it competes with cars like the BMW X5, the Mercedes GLE, the Lincoln Aviator, and of course the Lexus RX. Now this one here I've switched to is the fully loaded Prestige model with the twin turbo V6. So it also includes these really attractive set of 22-inch alloy wheels. They're wrapped in 265 40 series rubber. The standard size wheel is a 19-inch wheel. I really like the way these 22s look. They fill out the wheel wells nicely. The GV80, however, does not offer an air suspension where you can raise the ride height up and down. Instead, it has an adaptive variable suspension. All GV80s will have about 8.1 inches of ground clearance, so you could theoretically take it off-road. Its overall length is around 194.6 inches long. It's actually about an inch shorter than the G80 sedan, which makes sense because Genesis wanted this thing to be taller, so it gives you that taller ride height that you expect from an SUV. The rear profile, again, also has a look that mimics the front. You have those quad beam full LED taillights, which is nice. You've got Genesis that kind of is spelled out at the rear, which makes this thing look very Bentley-esque, really premium. And then down here you can see the exhaust tips kind of mimic the crest grille shape that you get at the front of the vehicle. I think it actually looks really distinctive. Genesis did a really great job with the overall proportions of this car. Now let me open up the cargo area and show you guys what the space is like. They do actually have some numbers for us. Now, if you guys want the third row, you have to go for the Advanced Plus package. So if you want this fully loaded Prestige, it's not available with the third row. Instead, you get a crap ton of space. You get around 34 cubic feet of space with the second row seats up. If you fold down those second row seats, Genesis says it'll expand to around 84 cubic feet of space. That's a little bit more than what you're gonna get from a lot of its rivals. So I think Genesis did a really great job with the practicality aspect of this car. So on the outside, the GV80 is one extremely good looking vehicle, but what about the interior? Now, to show you guys the interior, I've switched over to a 3.5T Prestige model. This is the most expensive, highest configuration of the GV80. And it also happens to have a dark blue exterior with this blue tan interior combination. It's just absolutely stunning. And as you can see at a glance, this interior is really very impressive. I love the fact that Genesis is putting like a blue with this tan two-tone combination. It's even echoed here onto the door panel with real leather, real metal, real wood, metal on the speaker covers. When I shut the door, this one also has the soft closing doors. So all you have to do is just kind of click the door and that will shut the door automatically, or you can also slam it and it has a really nice solid sounding thunk. The key fob for this vehicle looks like this. This is the newer Genesis key. It also has the remote parking assist. You can also use their digital key, or you can use a phone as a key. That is currently only for Android phones. The push to start button is over here. And you can see this one also has the 3D instrument cluster. And this is really where Genesis is introducing a segment first here. You can turn on and off the 3D cluster by kind of pushing this button here or using this button over here. You can turn it on and off. You can see there is a significant difference with the way this looks. This is the only trim to get the 3D cluster, and I think it's a must-have for this car. It really adds to the whole experience. You also have this massively large 12-inch head-up display over there, which looks great. Combine that with the 14.5-inch touchscreen over here with the Genesis UX infotainment system and all of the real leather stitching over here. This is one of the nicest cabins in the business. It really puts to shame a lot of the European brands, which cost significantly more versus this car. Now, just like the G80, you can see the interior or the infotainment system here works extremely well. It's very responsive, it's very quick, it's nearly 15 inches in diameter, very large touchscreen. You can see it also has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is really nice. It's not wireless though. I'm surprised that Genesis isn't doing a wireless Apple CarPlay feature. You can see here when you have the infotainment system up, you can see it doesn't take up the entire screen, which is fine. You can have this little helper screen to the side where you can show different stuff. I really love the way the graphics look. I love the way this looks here. When you put the car into reverse, you can see full 360 camera with a top-down view. You have the remote parking assist. You can, the vehicle will parallel park itself for you, basically. This is all very high-tech stuff. The steering wheel, you can see some people didn't like the way this steering wheel looked when it first came out. It's grown on me. I like how comfortable it is. You have really high-quality leather. The airbag cover is also stitched in leather, which is nice. Real metal on the paddle shifters. You have a powered tilt and telescoping wheel, which is nice. All your driver assistance tech features is over here. You can push this button here. You can turn on the active steering assist. You have those cameras that kind of watch your face, where it kind of scans to make sure you're paying attention to the actual road. You have a touch screen over here as well, which is great. You can kind of turn on and up the fan speed. You can kind of slide that if you'd like to adjust it. You can also activate the heated and cooled seats, the heated steering wheel. This car also has the massage feature. It's got the smart posture care, which allows you to do a full massage. On the driver's side, there's 4 different levels. The passenger seat does not get the massage function, unfortunately, but these seats, look at them, with the diamond quilting, the leather, they are heated and cooled. You can also adjust the seat back from over here, which is nice. They are so extremely comfortable and supportive. Really goes well with the rest of this interior, all of the leather that's on the dashboard over here, the leather here. I love the Lexicon stereo system, which, by the way, the Lexicon audio has 21 speakers and over 1,000 watts of power in here. It's one of the best sounding audio systems in the business. Considering the price of this car, it sounds just as good as the high-end European brands from a lot of its competitors. Now, if you want to go look at the regular map display, you can see Genesis uses a variation of what Hyundai uses, although this is definitely a lot more snappy and responsive, way quicker. The graphics are good, and it just looks impressive on this screen. You can even also keep the split view screen if you'd like to put your audio information here, along with your GPS information. This is all just very impressive. I love the way this looks over here. You've got a wireless phone charger there, 2 USB ports, real wood trim. Like I said, this is the Genesis controller. You've got these metal control knobs. You have this glass shifter over here, your drive mode selectors over there, where you can cycle between the drive modes. Here you can see when I change the drive modes, it changes the way the look is for the 3D cluster, which is, again, very inclusive to this model with all of this stuff on it, but it really adds to the whole ambiance with this car. The center console you can see here is a pretty good size. It's actually pretty deep, which is nice. It's lined with felt, and in this glove compartment over here you can see it's damped and it's lined with felt. I really like the way this two-tone looks. And then above me you can see massive panoramic sunroof with some actual suede on the actual roof panel. There's this cool little convection or little mirror here which folds down that allows rear seat passengers to get a look, you know, at themselves when they're sitting in the back seat. So overall, this interior is very much class leading, but I will say you need to step up and get the Prestige trim to enjoy all the features of this car. But this 14.5-inch screen is standard. Same with all the Genesis driver assistance tech, which is standard. Although if you want something like these blind view cameras, that is optional. You have to at least go for the advanced or Prestige trim models to get that. Now, getting into the back seat of the GV80, this is exactly the reason why dealers and consumers have been begging Genesis for an SUV, because this is what Americans really want. They want the additional space. Now, the one that I'm sitting in, I've moved into, is an advanced model with a 3.5-liter V6. This is the only trim that Genesis is going to offer with the third row seat, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But as you can see, the second row offers just under 39 inches of legroom back here. So it offers a pretty good amount of space at 5'7". The floor is not completely flat here, but you can see there's a good amount of room back here. There's a good amount of foot space. Genesis also gives you your own set of climate controls back here with 3-level heated rear seats. However, no cooled seats on this model, which surprises me, because you can get something like a Palisade or a Telluride with cooled seats. So I'm surprised this model does not offer that. There is a nice armrest here that folds down. that gives you some cup holders. The cup holders themselves do feel a little bit flimsy, but I'm glad to see that there is, you know, cup holders back here. In terms of USB, there's one USB port, or actually, I'm sorry, there's two USB ports in a regular household power outlet, which is nice. Now, getting back into the third row, Genesis makes it relatively easy. You can push this little button here, which kind of makes the seat catapult forward. But as you can see, there isn't much space to actually get into the third row. And this is kind of reserved for small kids. So let me get back here to show you guys the space. I'm 5'7", like I said, and my knees are pretty much right up against the seat back. So it's not really great for space. Now, I will say that this feels better than the last Lexus RX 350L that I drove, but I think even something like the Acura MDX may offer more space. Audi's Q7 offers a little bit more space. Maybe the Volvo also offers more space. So I'm not surprised that Genesis is limiting the third row to this trim, but I do think that they should consider offering it on the fully loaded Prestige model. Now, just like the G80 sedan, the GV80 mirrors that vehicle's engine combinations. Starting at the base end, this is the 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Genesis says even though it's a 4-cylinder, it's pumping out 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy is also not bad. It's rated at 21 in the city, 25 on the highway, 23 combined. This one here is actually a rear drive model. For like an extra $2,500, you can add all-wheel drive, which keeps the fuel economy the same at 21.25. However, it'll drop it down to 22 combined. All of them will have an 8-speed automatic. And as this one sits, it weighs around 4,600 pounds. Now, I suspect most GV80 buyers are actually going to go for the 3.5 liter V6. As Alex will probably explain to you later on in his video, but this powertrain makes 375 horsepower. It's a twin turbo V6 and 391 pound-feet of torque. This engine compares very favorably to the motors you're going to find from BMW, from Mercedes, the new Lincoln Aviator. It weighs about 250 pounds more versus the 4-cylinder, but you get 75 more horsepower and nearly 100 more pound-feet of torque. So this is the powertrain that I'm going to focus primarily on because I believe that most buyers are going to go for this V6. It all goes out through, again, an 8-speed automatic. Fuel economy is rated at 18 in the city, 23 on the highway, so not that much more gas versus the 4-cylinder, and you got all that power. The towing capacity on this vehicle is around 6,000 pounds, and as I said earlier, the V6 weighs a tick over 5,000 pounds. So just like the G80 sedan on which this is based, if you guys are expecting the GV80 to be like a fire-breathing sport SUV, like a GLE 63 or an X5M, you're going to be disappointed. What this car is, what this SUV is a really comfortable luxury SUV that a lot of buyers are looking for nowadays. Now, obviously, I'm not in my home area just outside of DC. I'm out here in Northern California, just in the Santa Cruz Mountains, because I'm out here visiting Alex on Autos for a couple days, and I just so happened to be at the Genesis, or in California, where Genesis was having the program to drive this thing regionally. And I had a chance to drive the GV80 back from LA up to the Santa Cruz Mountains, up to San Jose, California. That's about a 5-hour drive, so I got some pretty good seat time in this GV80, and I have to say, just like the G80 sedan, this is one exquisitely built luxury SUV. The ride quality on this particular one here, this one has the 22-inch wheels, the adaptive variable suspension, it's the fully loaded Prestige, and you forget that this car has 22-inch wheels because it rides very, very smoothly. I have it in sport mode right now, and even in sport, it's very comfortable to ride in. It's so incredibly quiet. Very little wind, very little engine noise, very little road noise. Everything about this SUV is just really, really, luxury oriented. And I think that's what Genesis was obviously going for. Sure, they could have made this thing sportier, which it certainly can hold its own. This is not like a big wallowy soft cloud when you really start pushing it around the corners, but you do notice that the steering is tuned more for comfort, although it does provide a pretty good amount of feel, and the visibility in this car is also excellent. I'm always really impressed with how this car just sits. As it goes down the road, it feels really, high quality. It has a really good ride quality. It feels very solidly built. It feels very German. Obviously, Genesis has a lot of engineers from Germany that's working for the company, so that's one of the reasons why it rides and handles so extremely well. But I think a lot of buyers are also going to be pretty impressed with how this car feels when they're going down the road. Now this particular one that I'm driving has the 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6, which I really liked in the G80. In this car, it's a little bit heavier. This car weighs a tick over 5,000 pounds, and with 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque, it has about, you know, equivalent power to a lot of its European competitors. The 8-speed automatic is also a Genesis design transmission, and it is very smooth, very refined. It just puts the engine right in the meat of the power band. It's not like the quickest, you know, shifting transmission, but I think it's quick enough to satisfy most buyers in the segment. Everything about this car is just very kind of almost Lexus-like, built in with some, you know, BMW-ish in the overall feel, some Germanic feel to it. So it's a really interesting driving experience with this car. And like every other Genesis model, you have all of the driver assistance tech that comes as standard equipment. Although if you want stuff like the blind view camera system, my tester has that as part of the Prestige package. Now there is no launch control, but let's just try a quick brake torque and flooring it. I definitely like the sound. It's an augmented sound that you can play with to make it louder or quieter. It feels like a 0 to 60 time in the mid 5-second range, so the Germans are going to be quicker for sure. However, it's very smooth, the engine. It is well matched to the transmission and to the weight of this vehicle. It also will tow, remember, 6,000 pounds. So I'd say go with the 6. I had a chance to drive the 4-cylinder a couple days ago as well when I was in LA. I liked the 4-cylinder, but I definitely think that the 6 is the one that you want to go with, just because I think that the 6 fits the character of this car better. The 4 offers enough power for most people, but as a luxury SUV, I want the refinement and the pull of the 6-cylinder. Remember, this is a rear drive platform, so even though she's all-wheel drive, you can get the back end to start spinning out the rear a little bit. It'll step out a tad if you guys really, you know, turn off the traction control and just put your foot down. But even in sport, you can feel that the suspension is definitely softer, but it rides well. The steering offers decent feedback. Like, it doesn't coerce me to go faster in this thing the way an X5M or an X6M would, but you know, you feel that it's very planted, it's very controlled. I would love to see Genesis do a sport version of this car. I think it would do extremely well, but I'm guessing they're just kind of testing the market. This is a car that's hot. People have been asking Genesis to do an SUV for quite some time, so it's long overdue. And I'm just happy that it's here. This is one of my favorite new SUVs you can buy today. It's going to give Lexus a run for money. It's going to give, you know, Acura a run for the money. Lincoln, all the Germans, of course. I mean, what comes close to the feel of this is the new Aviator. The new Aviator definitely drives pretty nice as well. Although I think I like the aesthetics of this car a little bit more, so it's just going to come down to your preference on the styling and the interior tech. Although the technology in this car I think is better. The infotainment system technology is better than the Lincoln's. Acura's new MDX is coming out very soon. That should also be equivalent to this, the Type S model especially, but we haven't driven that yet, obviously. So this is going to seriously disrupt the segment. And Genesis, they're really killing it. Now, in terms of fuel economy, I did average around 22 mpg when I drove this thing from LA to San Jose. That is kind of disappointing in the MPG department. I think Genesis needs to work on the fuel economy a little bit more. It's never been their strong suit. I was showing around 350 miles of range on a full tank. You have around a 21-gallon gas tank. My guess is when this car gets broken in a little bit more, you know, it's driven a little bit more conservatively, it should get slightly better gas mileage. But I do know that the European brands offer slightly better MPG, but they are significantly more expensive. So we've been waiting a long time for Genesis to finally give us an SUV. Not only are consumers been waiting, dealers as well have been waiting, because this is what people in America want. Now, after spending the day driving the GV80, I'm happy to report that it pretty much lives up to my lofty expectations. I mean, I really love the G80 sedan. The GV80 SUV basically takes everything that I liked about the sedan and gives you that taller ride height, more practicality, the towing capacity, the off-road capability with 8 inches of ground clearance. And really, if you guys are in the market for a new mid-size luxury SUV and you don't take a look at this thing, you're really missing out, because Genesis has priced the GV80 to be extremely competitive with a lot of its competitors. This car starts at just under $50,000, around $48,900 plus destination. If you guys want the V6, that's going to cost you around $10,000 more for the V6. It starts at around $59,000. My tester here with the Prestige package adds another $12,000 extra, but it really gives you a lot of features. You guys saw that interior with all the stuff that it has, the luxury, the tech, the materials. All in, my tester stickers for around $72,000 with destination. That does make the GV80 a little bit more expensive than I anticipated, but a fully loaded Lexus RX will be around the high $60,000 range. A comparable European brand will be well over $75,000, $80,000. So Genesis offers a lot. And if you guys are looking to buy one of these, Genesis says they have around 350 dealers here in the States right now. They're continuing to ramp that up as we speak. You also get the Genesis Concierge service, where they'll have somebody come to your house, pick up the car for service, give you a loaner car. They have their best-in-class warranty as well. So this is a car that I think a lot of people are going to be going after when it goes on sale, and it's going on sale next month. So expect this to show up in dealerships very soon. Genesis says they have around 20,000 pre-orders for this car. So I imagine if you guys want one of these, you're going to have to act quickly. It's going to be a little bit hard to find on dealer lots. Genesis says they'll be building about as many as they can. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2021 Genesis GV80. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.